Clara and Amelia had been inseparable since kindergarten, a bond everyone thought was unbreakable. They shared everything, secrets, clothes, dreams, that is, until Liam entered the picture. Clara fell for Liam first, a whirlwind romance that painted her world in vibrant colors. He was charming, funny, and seemed utterly devoted to her. Amelia, her ever-supportive best friend, was her biggest cheerleader, always ready with a tub of ice cream for their movie nights and endless advice on navigating this new love. Also, Clara thought, the first crack in their perfect world appeared subtly. A missed call from Amelia that went straight to a busy tone, followed by a text from Liam saying he was tied up with a family thing. A shared look between them at a party that lingered a second too long. Clara, blinded by trust, dismissed these as figments of her overactive imagination. Friends and boyfriends were separate circles, and hers would never, ever overlap in that way. The truth, however, has a nasty habit of revealing itself at the worst possible moment. It was their 2-year anniversary. Clara had planned a surprise dinner, her heart fluttering with anticipation. She called Liam. No answer. She called Amelia to vent her frustration. And again, no answer. A knot of dread tightened in her stomach. A friend, seeing her distress, sent a casual text. "Hey, just saw Liam and Amelia heading into the Oak Room. You guys meeting up?" The Oak Room, the fancy new restaurant they had all talked about, but had never been to. Clara's world didn't just crack, it shattered. She drove there, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. And there they were, tucked into a cozy corner booth, laughing, their hands intertwined across the table. The image was a dagger to her heart. The betrayal wasn't just from Liam. It was from Amelia, the sister of her heart, the keeper of all her secrets. She didn't confront them. Instead, she turned around, a cold, hard resolve solidifying where her heart used to be. She deleted their numbers, blocked them on every platform, and mourned the death of 2 relationships at once. The weeks that followed were a blur of tears and sleepless nights. Clara's parents, worried sick, tried to coax her out of her shell. It was during one of these attempts that her mom mentioned an upcoming charity gala her company was sponsoring. She begged Clara to come, just to get out of the house. Reluctantly, Clara agreed. She put on a brave face, squeezed into a dress she hadn't worn in years, and prepared for a night of feigned smiles. At the gala, surrounded by strangers, she felt an overwhelming sense of loneliness. She found a quiet corner on the terrace, hoping to escape the noise. That's where she met him. He was older, with kind eyes that held a hint of sadness, and a gentle smile that didn't feel forced. He introduced himself as Robert. They started talking, and for the first time in weeks, Clara felt a genuine spark of connection. He listened, truly listened, as she spoke vaguely about a recent hardship. He didn't pry but offered quiet comfort. They talked 4 hours, about everything and nothing. Books, travel, the ridiculous price of art at these events. Clara found herself laughing, a real, deep laugh that felt foreign and wonderful. As the night ended, he asked for her number. She gave it to him without hesitation. His name was Robert Maxwell. The name tickled the back of her mind, but she couldn't place it. They went on a date the next weekend. And another. Robert was a breath of fresh air. He was mature, established, and treated her with a respect and adoration she hadn't realized she was missing. He made her feel seen, valued. The age gap, which might have seemed daunting on paper, felt insignificant in person. He was her rock, her safe harbor in the storm of her life. About a month into their blissful new romance, Robert invited her to a family barbecue. "It's time you met my daughter," he said, his eyes twinkling. "She's my world. Her name is Amelia." The name hit Clara like a physical blow. Amelia? It couldn't be. The world tilted on its axis. Robert Maxwell, Amelia Maxwell. How had she been so blind? This was Amelia's dad. The dad who had doted on his daughter. The dad Clara had met a dozen times at school events and birthday parties years ago, but hadn't seen in ages. He didn't recognize her, and in her grief-stricken haze, she hadn't made the connection either. A wicked, delicious thought sparked in her mind. This was it. This was karma. It wasn't a plan she had consciously hatched, but fate had just served revenge on a silver platter. She was falling for Robert, genuinely and deeply. But the idea of Amelia's face, when she saw her father on the arm of the girl she had so cruelly betrayed, that was a bonus she couldn't resist. So, she went to the barbecue. She dressed to the nines, feeling a powerful mix of nerves and exhilaration. She walked in hand with Robert, who proudly announced, "Amelia, honey, I want you to meet someone very special. This is Clara." Amelia, holding a half-eaten burger, froze. Her jaw dropped, her face paling to a ghostly white. Standing right beside her was Liam, his own expression a mask of pure shock. The silence was deafening. You could have heard a pin drop on the manicured lawn. Amelia's eyes darted from Clara to her father, then back again, disbelief warring with horror. "Clara," she whispered, the name barely audible. Liam looked like he'd seen a ghost. Clara just smiled, a sweet, triumphant smile. "Hi, Amelia. It's so good to see you again. Your dad has told me so much about you." She then turned to Robert, her voice filled with affection. "Darling, you didn't tell me Liam would be here too." What a small world. The rest of the barbecue was a masterclass in awkward tension. Amelia could barely speak, shooting venomous glares at Clara, who simply ignored them, playing the part of the perfect, loving girlfriend. She laughed at Robert's jokes, helped his sister with the salad, and acted as if this was the most natural thing in the world. She saw the furious, whispered arguments between Amelia and Liam by the grill. She saw the pleading looks Amelia shot at her father, who was too smitten to notice anything was amiss. Over the next few months, Clara and Robert's relationship deepened. He was the love she had been looking for. He was kind, stable, and cherished her. The revenge was sweet, yes, but the genuine love she found was even sweeter. She became a regular at family dinners, a constant, smiling presence that was a thorn in Amelia's side. Amelia tried to sabotage them, telling her dad that Clara was a gold digger, that she was only using him. But Robert saw the truth. He saw the way Clara looked at him, and he saw the bitter jealousy in his own daughter's eyes. One evening, Amelia cornered Clara alone. "How could you do this?" She seethed, her voice trembling with rage. "He's my father." Clara looked at her, the girl who was once her everything, and felt a surprising wave of pity. "How could you do what you did? Amelia, you broke my heart. You took the person I loved, and you didn't even have the decency to tell me. You let me find out in the most humiliating way possible. You know, I didn't plan this. I fell for your dad before I even knew who he was. He's a wonderful man, and he makes me happy, happier than Liam ever did. Maybe you should have thought about the consequences before you decided my friendship was disposable." Clara walked away, leaving Amelia standing there, speechless. The revenge was complete, but as she walked back into the living room and saw Robert smiling at her, she realized it wasn't about revenge anymore. She had lost a friend and a boyfriend, but in the most unexpected way, she had gained something far more valuable. She had found a true partner. Sometimes, the end of one story is just the beginning of a much, much better one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video.